The bitter taste hit my tongue instantly, dusty, grainy, with an unnatural crunch that made my throat tighten. I glanced up to see Olivia's eyes fixed on me, her pearl necklace catching the afternoon light as she watched me chew the chocolate truffle she'd just handed me. Something in her smile made my skin prickle. "Yours is special," she said, her voice honeyed but her eyes cold. "I saved that one just for you." I nodded, forcing myself to swallow while my instincts screamed. The strange texture coated my mouth as I carefully wrapped the remaining truffles in my napkin. "I'll save the rest for later," I managed, my voice steadier than I felt. "My name is Rachel. I'm 32 and a full-time mom to 2 boys under 6. This is the story of how I exposed the poison that was slowly destroying my family." For years, I'd told myself I had a picture-perfect life. A suburban home outside Portland, a husband who worked hard but came home on time, 2 healthy little boys who adored story time and peanut butter sandwiches, and in the early days, even a mother-in-law who smiled through tightly clenched teeth. I married Nicholas, a mechanical engineer who believed duct tape could fix anything, including his mother. We lived in a modest but cheerful 2-story with a swing set in the yard and crayon smudges on the fridge. From the outside, it probably looked like we had it all. And honestly, I used to think we did, until Olivia started offering to help. To most people, Olivia came across as elegant, warm, a pillar of patience in her trademark pearl necklace. For the first year of our marriage, I tried to see her that way too. But it's what people do when no one's watching that tells the truth. And Olivia had a way of weaponizing kindness. I remember the first meal she ever served me at their house in Eugene. Nicholas got a ribeye steak with rosemary butter. His father, William, got grilled salmon. I got steamed vegetables and a clear broth that smelled faintly of dishwater. "You're watching your figure, right?" Olivia had said, smiling like a photo in a church directory. I hadn't said anything about my weight, ever, but I smiled and thanked her. That moment set the tone for every visit after. The little things started piling up. If she made hot cocoa for the boys, mine would be accidentally left out. If she handed out chocolates at Christmas, I'd get a different wrapper, an off-brand, or one with dust on it. She would say things like, "It must be so hard not working, but at least the kids have someone around." Always with that same smile. Nicholas never noticed, or didn't want to. "She means well," he'd say every single time. "That's just how she shows love." Love. Like the time she gifted me a cookbook titled "Simple Meals for the Culinary Challenged," or when she posted a photo of her 3 favorite people at our son's birthday party, Nicholas, William, and the birthday boy, cropping me out completely. Still, I told myself I could handle it. She didn't live with us. Nicholas was on my side even if he didn't fully see it. And then came the chocolate truffle. An hour after eating it, sharp, stabbing pain bloomed in my stomach. I barely made it to the downstairs bathroom before collapsing to the tile floor, shaking and nauseous. Nicholas found me 30 minutes later, pale and clammy. "You okay?" "Something I ate," I muttered. He helped me upstairs, brought me tea, tucked the boys in. I didn't mention the chocolate, not yet. The next morning, while taking out the trash, I spotted something odd in the kitchen bin. A crumpled candy wrapper, white foil, old-fashioned lettering. The brand wasn't familiar. I pulled it out with the tip of a spoon and flattened it against the counter. Best Buy, December 2012. It was 2022. I stared at the date, my throat dry. Olivia hadn't just handed me an expired chocolate. She'd given me one that expired 10 years ago. I kept the wrapper, slipped it into the pocket of my jeans. I didn't know what to do with it, but throwing it out felt wrong. That night, after the kids were asleep, I told Nicholas. He squinted at the wrapper. "She probably didn't realize," he said. "It's not like she checks dates on everything." "Nicholas," I said slowly, "it wasn't just expired. It was ancient. It crunched. She's been cleaning out the pantry. Maybe it got mixed in. She said it was just for me." He looked uncomfortable. "Are you saying she did it on purpose?" I stared at him. "Do you think she didn't?" He sighed. "Look, even if she did, what are you going to do? Accuse her? She'll say it was a mistake and then we'll have drama for months." I swallowed my anger. "She's been doing things like this for years, Nicholas." This wasn't an accident. He rubbed his eyes. Rachel, I love you, but you're turning this into something it might not be. I didn't reply. The next morning, I called my brother. Dominic is 2 years younger than me, lives in Sacramento, and works in IT retail. We talk often, but I hadn't told him about the chocolate incident yet. I told him everything this time. There was a long silence when I finished. Then you need to set up cameras. What? Hidden ones. Cheap, easy to use. You're going back to her house sometime, right? She's invited us to Cannon Beach for a long weekend in 2 weeks. Rental cabin. Perfect. Dominic, this isn't a crime drama. Maybe not, but if she's really doing what you think she is, you need proof, especially if Nicholas is still in denial. He was right, and I hated that he was right. 3 days later, a small box arrived at our house. Inside, 5 button-sized cameras, a portable router, and a note in Dominic's handwriting. Don't wait for another chocolate. Record everything. I stared at the gear in my hands. Then I packed them in my overnight bag just in case. That evening, Nicholas came home. Mom says the Cannon Beach place has 2 guest rooms and a deck view. She even booked a private chef for Saturday night. Of course she did. He blinked. What's that supposed to mean? I smiled thinly. Nothing. But in my mind, I wasn't packing swimsuits anymore. I was packing evidence. Cannon Beach in April was damp and beautiful, wrapped in mist and soft pine air. The cottage Olivia had rented sat at the edge of the woods with a winding gravel drive, 2 porches, and 1 shared kitchen. She greeted us on the porch in a quilted vest and white turtleneck, the picture of humble elegance. Her husband William stood behind her with a neutral nod and a thermos in hand. It's so good to see you all, she cooed, reaching to hug the boys before touching my shoulder. Rachel, you look rested. I smiled tightly. Thanks, so do you. Nicholas dropped our bags inside, already helping the boys settle into their room. Olivia gave us a tour, even though the house was barely 1,200 square feet. You and Nicholas will be here. She gestured to a small room with bunk beds. The boys can share the bunks. She and William would take the master bedroom across the hall. The kitchen was shared. 1 long wooden dining table dominated the open area between the rooms. Very communal, Olivia said with a smile, just like a real family. The first night passed without incident. Dinner was simple: roast chicken, salad, bread. Olivia dished out everyone's plate except mine, which she handed to me last. A beat too late, a beat too intentionally. Mine had no chicken skin, no roasted potatoes, mostly steamed kale. I didn't say anything. Later that night, after everyone went to bed, I opened my overnight bag in silence and pulled out the small pouch of equipment Dominic had sent. 5 cameras, 3 chargers, a pocket Wi-Fi router, instructions I'd already memorized. I waited until the house was asleep. Then I moved. Camera 1, mounted in the kitchen cabinet corner facing the prep counter. Camera 2, tucked above the refrigerator, angled at the sink and trash. Camera 3, disguised as a coat hook in the hallway facing Olivia's room. Camera 4, hidden in a vase on the shared dining table. Camera 5, inside our bedroom just in case. Everything synced to the cloud and to my laptop, which I kept locked in our closet. By 2 a.m., the house was quiet again. The next morning, Olivia was already humming in the kitchen when I walked in. "Good morning," she chirped. "I let you sleep in." Nicholas was outside with the boys, helping them hunt for bugs in the backyard. Olivia poured me tea before I asked for any. I was thinking we could have a little lunch together, just the 2 of us. "That's kind of you," I said, pretending to sip. She opened a sleek paper box, revealing a colorful bento arrangement. "I picked this up from a boutique deli in town," she said. "Imported ingredients, very exclusive. You deserve something special." She placed it in the fridge, clearly labeled Rachel. I knew better than to ask if anyone else was getting one. That afternoon, when the boys napped and Nicholas joined his dad for a walk, I slipped back into the bedroom and opened my laptop. I cued the kitchen footage, scrubbing backward until I found the timestamp. 10:46 a.m. Olivia, alone in the kitchen, gloves on. She opened a small Tupperware from her purse, something dark and twitching inside. I zoomed in, a live cockroach. My stomach turned as I watched her reach in with tweezers, lift the insect gently, and nestle it into the bento's rice bed like a jewel being set into velvet. She sprinkled sesame seeds over the top, smoothed the surface, then smiled. I paused the video, closed the laptop, and sat on the floor. I had thought she might try something again. I had prepared for weird, expired food, an allergy trap, a hair in the soup. Not this. This was intentional. Calculated. Cold. She wanted me to eat it. She wanted me to scream. At dinner that evening, Olivia announced her next surprise with theatrical flair. "I've arranged something special for our last night here," she said. "Gourmet bento boxes from that same deli. I ordered one for each of us." But she turned toward me. "Yours is custom." "Of course it is," I murmured. Nicholas smiled absently, cutting chicken for our youngest. "She says they cost nearly $700 total. Mom's really going all out." William didn't look up. After the kids went to bed, Nicholas found me brushing my hair in the bathroom. "You okay?" he asked. I met his eyes in the mirror. "Do you believe me now?" He looked confused. "About what?" I opened the medicine cabinet, pulled out the flash drive I'd saved the footage to, and held it out. "Watch this, before dinner tomorrow." But he didn't. He said he was tired. Said I was overthinking again, that his mom had been trying so hard lately, so I waited. The next day, just before dinner, Olivia came into the living room carrying the boxes. One by one, she placed them on the table, each tied with golden string and labeled in perfect cursive. Nicholas, William, the boys, Rachel. She handed me mine personally. "I asked them to make yours extra delicate. You always were a little sensitive." I took it, didn't open it. "Go on," she said. "I want to see your face." I smiled. "So do I." I stood, walked to the trash can, opened the lid, and dropped the box in. Olivia froze. Nicholas jerked around in his seat. "What the hell are you doing?" he said. "That was $140, Rachel." William put down his fork, silent. Olivia's voice pitched higher. "That was made especially for you." I walked out of the room and returned with my laptop. "Let me show you what was especially made for me." I set the laptop on the dining table right beside Olivia's delicate flower-patterned teacup. My fingers didn't tremble this time, not anymore. Nicholas frowned. "Rachel, what's going on?" "You'll see." I clicked play. The screen lit up with grainy footage of the kitchen. The camera caught Olivia's profile as she shut the door behind her, slipped on latex gloves, and reached into her handbag. She lifted out a black Tupperware container, clicked it open, and produced a pair of silver tweezers. On the screen, a roach writhed, legs kicking and antennae twitching. Gasps echoed around the table. My oldest son covered his face with his hands. Nicholas muttered, "Oh my God." And then came the part that made my blood boil. Olivia smiling softly as she nestled the insect into the bed of rice, sprinkling sesame seeds over it, smoothing it down like she was frosting a cake. I froze the frame. The room itself seemed to hold its breath. Olivia was the first to break. "This is absurd," she said, her voice sharp. "That footage could be anything. Someone edited it." "Really?" I tilted my head. "Edited from 3 different angles?" I pulled up the second camera positioned over the refrigerator. This one showed her side profile in crystal detail. The tweezers, the bug, the box with my name on it. Nicholas pushed back from the table so suddenly his chair screeched. "Mom, no! Please tell me this isn't what it looks like." Olivia's lips pressed tight. For a moment I thought she might lie again. Pretend. But something in her snapped. Her face contorted, twisting into something raw and hateful. "She doesn't belong here," Olivia hissed. "She's never belonged." William finally spoke. His voice was calm but steel-cut. "Olivia." "She poisoned you, Nicholas," Olivia spat, ignoring him. "From the moment you brought her home, took you from me, made you forget who sacrificed everything to raise you." Nicholas's hands trembled. "That doesn't give you the right." Olivia slammed her palm on the table. The teacup rattled. "I gave you life. And she thinks she can waltz in here with her smug little smiles and her college degree." She jabbed a finger toward me. And act like she's better than me. I wanted her gone, that's all. The boys whimpered, clinging to Nicholas's side. My chest ached watching them shake, but I forced myself to stay steady. Gone how, Olivia? I asked. By slowly feeding me trash? By trying to make me sick until I walked away? She sneered. If you were smart, you would have, but you're too stubborn. You always had to prove me wrong. William rose from his chair. His usually placid face was thunder. You tried to poison the mother of my grandchildren, he said, each word measured. You endangered children who could have eaten from that box. You've disgraced this family beyond repair. Olivia blinked as if slapped. William! Enough! His voice cracked like a gavel. He turned to Nicholas. Take Rachel and the boys. Go back to Portland tonight. I'll handle her. Nicholas nodded wordlessly, already gathering the boys into his arms. Olivia screamed then, a shrill, desperate sound. Don't you dare walk away from me, Nicholas. I am your mother. But Nicholas didn't turn back, not once. We packed in silence. By midnight, we were on the highway back to the mainland, the boys asleep across the back seat. Nicholas drove with his knuckles white on the wheel. Finally, he whispered, I'm sorry. I stared out at the dark water. You should be. I didn't want to see it. I kept telling myself she just meant well. She doesn't mean well, Nicholas. She means harm. He swallowed hard. I'll never let her near you or the kids again. I swear it. For the first time in years, I believed him. The next morning, I walked into the local police station with a flash drive in hand. I'd saved multiple copies of the footage to different devices the night before, ensuring we had backups of the evidence. The officer on duty paled halfway through the footage. Ma'am, this qualifies as criminal endangerment. You're pressing charges? Yes, I said simply. Within a week, a restraining order was in place. Olivia could not contact us, approach the boys, or step foot on our property. I made sure to provide our home address, my cell phone number, and the boys' school information to ensure the order covered all necessary locations. But of course, she tried anyway. Blocked calls at midnight, emails from burner accounts, handwritten letters with no return address. The words alternated between saccharine apologies and venomous rants. I only wanted what's best for my son. You'll regret turning him against me. I filed every one of them with the police as violations of the restraining order, keeping detailed records of each attempted contact. Then William called. He'd gotten my cell number from Nicholas after the incident. He sounded weary but resolute. I've filed for divorce, he said. Olivia is... She's unraveling. She bans cell phones from the house, says cameras are everywhere. She accuses neighbors of spying. She hasn't been rational for months, Rachel. I should have stepped in sooner. I closed my eyes. Relief and sorrow tangled inside me. I'm sorry, William. Don't be, he said. You did what none of us could. You exposed her. 3 months later, I was at the grocery store when my phone buzzed. Blocked number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Rachel. Olivia's voice was faint, rasping. Thank God, you picked up and I didn't reply. I have nothing, she whimpered. William's gone. I can't pay rent. I can't buy food. Please, please, I didn't mean for it to go so far. Still, I said nothing. You're a mother, she sobbed. You know what it's like to sacrifice everything. I only did it because I loved him, because I couldn't lose him. Don't let me starve. I drew a slow breath. My hands were steady. You wanted me gone, I said. Now you are. Rachel, please. If you're hungry, I cut in coldly, maybe try what you served me. And then I hung up. When I got home, Nicholas was sitting on the porch swing, boys tumbling in the grass. He looked up as I approached. Everything okay? He asked. I smiled faintly. Better than okay. Because in that moment, with the sun on my skin and my children laughing, I realized something. We were finally free. Not because Olivia was gone, but because her power over us, over me, was gone forever. The divorce between William and Olivia was finalized 6 months after the incident. Nicholas and I are still together, stronger now that he's set firm boundaries with his mother. As for Olivia, we learned through William that she eventually moved to Arizona to live with her sister. The restraining order remains in effect, and she hasn't attempted contact in over a year. Some scars heal slowly, but they do heal. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.